The committee got it right. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, you're ticked off. If I was a Florida State fan, I would be livid. But they got it right. And I'm going to tell you why here in just a moment. I'm Brian. Welcome to Clemson Football Live. I do appreciate you being here. Hopefully you'll subscribe, even if you hate what I have to say. It's a cheap, free way to support the channel. Now, this morning, I did something that I normally don't do. I paid attention to ESPN playing in the background. My oldest, he was listening to it. And to hear the arguments and the pure shock in people's voice of why Florida State was left out versus Alabama, it was just almost comical. Then I ran an errand about, 45 minutes ago, and I turned on the local Clemson football flagship station here in the upstate. They got some good people on there. And they were blown away that Florida State was left out. I get it. I really get it. But I'm going to tell you why Florida State was left out, whether you like it or not. Jordan Travis is their quarterback. He is an incredible athlete who I gained a lot of respect for that guy this year. I looked at that guy this year against Clemson. No matter how many times we kept coming after him, hitting him, the guy picked himself up and continued to play like a man. That was impressive. But for some reason, his coaching staff, they did what a lot of coaching staffs do. They played him against North Alabama in the next to last game of this season when they didn't have to. I used to lose my mind over this when Trevor Lawrence was playing for Clemson. And this happened several times. The team was so loaded, they would be up by 30, 40 points, something like that, 30 or 40 points in the third quarter. And Trevor's still running the football. That is a dumb coaching move. Unfortunately, Jordan Travis paid for poor coaching. He messed up his leg, and unless he is healed miraculously, your starting quarterback, your star quarterback, one of the main reasons that you did great is on crutches on the sideline. That's why you're left out. Let's dive into the Florida State-Florida game when Rodemaker played. Remember, you're playing the Florida Gators, but the Florida Gators are terrible. They're awful. They're 5-7. You're one of those 7 losses, but the Florida Gators looked absolutely bad, absolutely terrible. They didn't even have Graham Mertz, their starting quarterback. Rodemaker was 12 of 25, 134 yards. And had you not scored 10 points in the fourth quarter, you would have lost. But you did. You did score. What was your offensive production that day? Well, 16 first downs, 224 total yards. Let's go to the Florida State versus Louisville game. Rodemaker's out because of what? Concussion protocol. Glenn was 8 of 21 for 55 yards. You had to go to a wildcat formation just to score in the fourth quarter. Granted, this game was on the heels of watching Alabama beat a 29-game win streak team with 2 consecutive national championships. They beat them by 3 flipping points. Florida State's on a winning streak. You don't have 2 national championships in a row. You didn't win in some thriller against a great team. Louisville, and I'm impressed with what Brom has done, but they've proven it towards the end of this season that they have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do. Florida State's defense looked very good. But you have to have an offense in a playoff. So the committee, and I'm not a fan of the committee. I think the playoff was set up to fail from the beginning. We started off with 4 teams. There's a Power 5 conference. That's 5 teams. So we're trying to jam 5 into 4. Oh, it'll work itself out. No, it should have been at least an 8-team playoff from the get-go, and crap like this wouldn't happen. But those committee members are going to put in the best team at the moment, whether you like it or whether I like it or not. And Florida State at 13-0 with Jordan Travis on crutches is not one of the best teams at the moment. You can scream, you can yell, you can whatever, go for it. Now, would this be the catalyst for Florida State to leave the ACC and join the Big Ten? Because if there's one group of people who hates the SEC and they're tired of hearing about the SEC, it's the Big Ten. That's the reason why they made the power move. They have a team from East to West Coast. The only place they don't have a team or representation is in the heart of the Southeastern Conference. The area that this Southeastern Conference has a landlock on. Nobody cares about ACC football. We know this. I'm not a conference guy. I'm not a conference guy whatsoever. So if Florida State won the national championship this year, and they wouldn't, with this team, they would go into the playoffs, they would get embarrassed. And then the rhetoric would be, what would it be like? What could have been if Jordan Travis wasn't played against North Alabama? Just because coaches do it all the time, that doesn't make it right. That would be the narrative. Florida State, their brand might have been saved instead of going to the college football playoff, and you have to play Georgia. So go beat Georgia and tell everybody you're wrong. I don't think that's going to happen without Jordan Travis. Have a bunch of people in here right now. Who's very upset that I'm saying what I'm saying. And that's fine. We can hopefully civilly disagree. But put this Florida State team in without Jordan Travis and just say that's on principle. You know what? I kind of wish the committee would have done that, because can you imagine Rodemaker and that team that could barely gain any yards? Oh, they would have had a month to prepare. The problems that they had against Florida, it's going to take much longer than a month to fix that. And so next year, we won't have this problem. We're talking about this year. The committee, they got it right. Florida State, without Jordan Travis, among Texas and Alabama, Washington, Michigan, they would get, at first, the defense, Florida State's defense, really talented. They would hold their own for a little bit until, and we've seen this at Clemson, until they had to stay on the field much longer because the offense couldn't do anything. Hey guys, we're getting a stop. Could you score some points for us? Dude, we can't even get a first down good. Clemson fans, you know this very well. Folks, we can agree to disagree. And let me go ahead and tell you this. If you're a Florida State fan in here and you are just appalled that I'm saying what I'm saying, and then you're so appalled that you say that my opinion doesn't matter, but you take the time to put the comment that my opinion doesn't matter in the comment section or the chat section, that's totally fine. I'm just going to let you know that you have an entire media who is just crying with you. They are appalled. They're upset. They're mad. I'm one of the few who's looking and saying, I think they got it right. I'm not going to drink the juice because everybody else is drinking it. Now, if the juice is good and the juice is right, fantastic. But if my Tigers if they were without their starting quarterback and the backup was not solid, and they could go to the playoff and get humiliated or play in another bowl, folks, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you this straight up. I would rather them miss the playoff. Yes, I said that. Write it down that I said it. Than them go to the playoff and get absolutely emasculated. Just so we could all get the ooey gooeys of fair. I'll leave it at that. Folks, you take care of yourself. Trust me. Let me see. I got a bunch of people in here just absolutely angry. They are pissed. They are pissed. Hey, listen, go turn on ESPN. Go turn on any other sports channel right now. Listen to your local sports radio. They are going to sympathize with you, and they're going to tell you why Florida State should be in there because they're undefeated. And I get that. I get that uncomfortableness, but they are not the same team without Jordan Travis, not even remotely close. They're not even remotely close. So thank you so much for being in here. And I appreciate it. Y'all take care of your, let me see. You take care of yourself as always. Go Tigers.